So there's a long history here. Much of the dairy for Canada exists in really two provinces, Quebec and Ontario. And there are different ways of supporting agriculture. You can use subsidies like we do a lot in the United States, or you can do supply management, which is what Canada had chosen to do. But everybody should know here a couple of things. First of all, the U.S. has a trade surplus with dairy with Canada right now. You wouldn't think that. Second, we have quotas that we go up to. We actually don't pay the 270 and 300% tariffs. Three, we have TPP. We actually negotiated increased allocations of dairy for the United States. So there's a lot of leeway here that we can get done. But I think the president is talking about a dandelion in a beautiful field, and he's willing to rip up the field for one dandelion. I think this is something we need to work on. But I think that this is, unfortunately, blown way out of proportion by the president.
But all that said, Ambassador, isn't it the U.S. that has the leverage in these negotiations right now?
Absolutely. You know, we basically have 10 times the size of the economy. That Canada, 75% of all of its exports go to one country, the United States, and so much of their GDP is reliant on this relationship. The U.S. has all the leverage in the world. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. And when you take your best friend, your greatest ally in the world, and start squeezing them, you can win. But I will tell you, the relationship will be damaged much longer than it will take for the ink to dry on a new NAFTA deal if we keep squeezing Canada.
I mean, we may have the economic leverage, Ambassador, but Canada has plenty of friends in Congress. It's the top state for a lot of exports across the Midwest. You really think the members of Congress are going to let a U.S.-Mexico trade deal go through without Canada?
No, I don't think they will at all, actually. Orrin Hatch yesterday, through the Senate Finance Twitter followers, you'll see that he came out very aggressively in support of Canada. You have the U.S. Chamber in support of Canada. Today's Wall Street Journal came out on the editorial section in support of Canada. This cannot happen without Canada, and I think it's a folly to think that you're going to go Mexico alone here. It won't happen, it won't pass Congress, and it will be harmful to the United States.
I think we're joined, Mr. Ambassador, by a fellow ambassador, former U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, Tony Garza. Mr. Ambassador, apologize for the late audio issues, but it's good to get your take as well. We keep looking at Canada's reaction, USTR's reaction. Do we know how Mexico is viewing any of this back and forth?
Well, I think they're viewing the back and forth largely as encouraging if it means we're taking a step towards a trilateral agreement. As you know, the announcement on Monday was only a step. Canada clearly is our #1 trading partner, and while Mexico is our #3 and our #2 for exports, it's only a better agreement if it's a trilateral agreement.
Ambassador Garza, did Mexico throw Canada under the bus by doing this deal with the U.S. first at the exclusion of Canada?
Well, I wouldn't say they threw Canada under the bus. I think what happened Monday was there was a narrowing of issues, consensus reached on issues that were particularly difficult in the context of the United States and Mexico, rules of origin, issues as related to the Sunset Clause. I think having narrowed those issues, it created some urgency going into today. I think really it created an environment where we're hopeful that we can get to something similar, a preliminary agreement in principle with Canada today. Get that clock ticking. Hopefully they'll have some final text in 30 days and then go down the road. And I think the road is still fraught with obstacles in terms of congressional approval. The politics here in Mexico and Canada and the United States are not going to be easily navigated. But if they can get to something that looks like a genuine handshake by the end of the day today, they'll still have a little wiggle room in the next 30 days to get to final text. So, no, I think it created urgency and it narrowed the issues.